Today I hope you turn the car on. What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys didn't watch the video before this one, be sure to go back and check it out. I'll remember to put the link above here for you guys. So in the last video, we did an unboxing video on the Hasport motor mounts with the 72A bulletproof bushings, and well, it's locked. But we got it installed, we got the engine in place, and everything we had for the swap yesterday was also installed. We finished up the suspension. It is staying stock for right now just to make sure everything works. That's all buttoned up. And in today's video is pretty much just finalizing the car. Kat and Joe came by yesterday when I was wrapping up. They brought me all the extra stuff to finish the car up, and today we are going to try to see if we can turn the car on. There's really not much left to do. I didn't do the shift linkage yesterday. That's got to go on. The exhaust lines up, but the bolt flange is off. So I'm pretty much going to put it in line, put a worm clamp on it because the exhaust is going to change anyway. So I don't want to have to do the cut and weld on that. But then again, I can turn it on open header. It's not a big deal. Run the OBD0 to OBD1 jumper harnesses inside the car to the distributor and all of that, so that way we could run the P72 ECU because we don't have a chip one. And I know the car's going to throw a couple check engine lights, but I also need to wire in all the VTEC, the pressure switch, everything else pertaining to going to OBD1 VTEC. So we're going to take care of all of that today, guys. Throw some fluid in it, and if it's not within a few hours, it will at least be the end of this video. The car's going to turn on. Let's get to it. I'm going to start off by kind of buttoning up the engine bay. This one has all new gaskets for the valve cover, right? But I don't want to use this just yet. If you guys know the EF, the engine sits pretty tall with the B series, and we have issues where it kind of rubs up on the hood web. So you can see right here, this car had a B16 before. It used to rub there, and then they cut this end right here, which typically hits right here. So earlier I had the hood closed and I was pressing down on it and it wasn't actually touching. So I just want to ensure that it's not going to touch before I put the rear valve cover on. So I'm going to use these new grommets and bolts to secure this valve cover down. And then I don't think there's really much more in the engine bay other than the wiring side of things, but drain engine oil, new fluids, and then we'll work our way underneath the car to the linkage. These middle ones are specific if you're running a spark plug cover. They don't have like a cone on top of it, so these go in the middle right here because the spark plug cover actually slides into that flat part of the nut right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just install these guys real quick. This one over here, I'm not gonna put it on just yet because I still need to find a ground for it, which is very important. And it just reminded me I need to put the ground right here as well too. It's important to make sure that this ground, if you're running a ground here on the valve cover, that it is making connection to the stud to the engine and not the valve cover, because the valve cover is still separated with a gasket. So I normally put it right here. And go ahead and just zap that. Kat brought me some plugs yesterday, so I'm going to be swapping those out as well. Holy shit, look at that. That thing's oily. And it's pretty old. The plugs that she got, I told her to get it for a 94 plus GSR NGK. I only run NGK. These are it right here. 2756, I guess. That's what they provided her for GSR. And I'm gonna go ahead and just clean the cylinders real quick, whatever is in there, and then I'm gonna drop those plugs in. It was just cylinder one that was a little damped with oil. The other three were dry. I was fortunate enough to find some 19mm bolts, but this one has a 17 head on it. But this is what I'm gonna need for the DAT bracket to the hydro transmission. Typically I don't have 19 mils because, I mean, for us EF guys, we don't really use 19s, but the 19s came on the EGs and DCs, and also that, they came equal length for the EG, DC, EK guys. For the EF, because when using the DA, we need one short, one long because of the offsetted legs of the DAT bracket. So I'm gonna grab everything I need and I'm gonna go underneath the car and bolt up the T bracket because I forgot to do that yesterday, shift linkage and all. Need to get a weighted shift knob in here. Huh. This is the first time I'm looking down here, and apparently this already has a somewhat upgraded exhaust system. And what I mean by somewhat is because it's like 2 inches on the top as a cat. It's like 2 inches right here, and then that weld, it transitions bigger. So this is like, I believe, might be 2 1/4 flux core, and this thing is not welded. Right there. That's funny as hell. So I actually have a bunch of 2 1/4 piping. If this is 2 1/4, so I might even do the muffler too, just to get it to be nice and quiet. And yeah, so right now I'm gonna go ahead and take off the shift linkage, because we need to switch that out. 2 12 mil in the back. One there. One there. This slides out. Ouch, I should hit my head. So for the EF guys trying to go B swap, and you're trying to retain your stock cluster and the cable driven speed sensor setup right here, you're gonna have to get a 9093 Integra speed sensor, because the 94 Plus are electronic. And if you're not running a cluster like EK, DC, S2K or whatever, you can't use this guy. And then you'll throw a check engine light for speed sensor, and then your VTEC and all the other crazy stuff, it's not gonna work. So I don't have a DA speed sensor. Probably have to run to the yard maybe tomorrow to get the rest of the stuff I need, but I can definitely turn the car on without it, just as long as I know that the check engine light is for this. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and just fill up the transmission with some Honda manual transmission fluid, and I think we'll move into the inside of the car and tinker with the jumper and ECU. Had to paint the battery tray black. It was rusted, and I don't have any Superior blue to paint it the same color, but I'm definitely gonna buy a can of it, because my brother's Wagon is Superior blue as well too. Needs some touch up. But I painted this black after you know, scrubbing it down and then wire wheeling a little bit, and then just did a Rust-Oleum black on it to give it a better like appeal, even though the battery's gonna sit on it. So that's secured. Also, can't forget the tray, whichever way it goes. I believe it goes like that, because the hook for the tie down goes right there. So this car is already multi-point converted, and I've covered that plenty of times before, and the way the last owner did this is really nice and clean. So everything is done accordingly. C1, C2, B10, B12, A3, A7 right here. This is his own, you know, that plug that sits in the corner. Easy to disconnect when you pull the engine out. I like the way he did that. And pretty much, I mean, all I have to do is, because this is blocks, there's no instructions to it. I just got to wire in. Let me see here. What's going on? What is this? We had this in Ricky's car. I don't remember how or why I did things the way I did it. So O2's right here. We have one on the header, and I'm gonna have to find a way to feed this plug through and plug it to the O2 on the header. This one right here looks to be, oh, okay, so I know why I did this. So this gray, this is a VTEC pressure switch. We're bypassing it, so we're not going to have it plugged up in the engine bay. This is bridged into the purple wire, which is VTEC solenoid. Plug a, what is it, A4, purple wire right there. And this is to bypass the VTEC pressure switch, so we're not going to have a check engine light for it. And the reason why this is bridged right here, and it has its own wire, which originally in, you know, Ricky's car, this went to the VTEC solenoid. And the reason being is because on the other side of this blocks, you know, jumper harness, the pin is actually gone. It destroyed itself right there, so there's no wire on the other side. So this is going to go to VTEC right here. We definitely need the O2 sensor, given that we're going to be running a stock P72 OBD1 ECU, and when this car gets a chip ECU, this will be up for sale. This was used to bar the EG, and it's an unmodified version P72. So definitely got to wire this guy in. I know we're gonna have a check engine light for knock sensor. I might need to wire that in as well too, just to get rid of the check engine light. But this guy, VTEC, pressures bypass, a whole bunch of other wiring. All right, guys, so I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. The last clip was like 2 hours ago, maybe. But I've been tinkering with the car, and it's doing exactly what it did with the single cam, which is weird. So I've been trying to get this car to turn on. Finally got it to turn on, but it doesn't sound right. It sounds exactly what the single cam was doing, like a low misfire. And I traced this guy and this guy, right, back to the ECU plugs. These are in the correct location, A3, A7. I traced back the crank wires right here, the blue, yellow, and the blue, green. They are in, I believe they're in the right spot. I gotta double check it again. But I swapped jumpers right here, over here, and the car sounds the way it does. So I'm gonna turn it on for you guys in a second here. But I'm not stumped, you know. I'm just backtracking what the last owner did and making sure that whatever wires were added in are in the right spot. But the single cam actually held its idle and everything when I converted back to OBD0. So if I cannot figure out after all the wiring stuff, I do have an OBD0 B16 VTEC distributor right here, and I can just slap the PR4 OBD0 LS ECU to see if the car would idle right. And if it does, I think honestly back to the drawing board, because if it ran fine OBD0 and it runs like crap to OBD1, something in between is wrong. But we got different jumper on it now, different ECU on it now, different distributor jumper on it right now, and I don't know what it is. I doubt it's the distributor. Again, sorry cat, my dirty feet. But give you guys a quick little startup here. No check engine light. If there was a check engine light, it would have went off and came back on. The battery is dead too, so give me a second here. That's what it's doing now, and that's what it was doing before. Firing order is correct. Spark plugs are new. Distributor did look new. Yeah. Ground. SLS. This guy is supposed to trigger the check engine light, I hope. Nothing. It's funny, the car been idling for about 15 minutes. As soon as I pick up the camera, it died, but fired right back on. It's kind of loud because obviously no exhaust, but it doesn't seem like it has a misfire until you rev it maybe 15-2 grand. For some reason, the heater stuff doesn't work, so I can't properly bleed out the cooling system, but it is taking in coolant. Whoops. But the car is idling, and what I did from the last clip was I pulled the plugs out while holding up the throttle, and I can hear the pulse on the distributor making spark. But when I put it back in, I just smashed them back in, you know, whack-a-mole, and the car just wanted to idle on its own now, which I don't know. I mean, it sounds like it has a misfire still, right? Which is not good, but it seems to be holding its own idle now, which is weird. I am going to diagnose this car a little bit more, guys. Obviously, I'm not going to give the car back to Cat like this. I'm going to make sure that this car is 100%. Definitely going to do the exhaust, not in this video, because doing the exhaust underneath the car, you see, it just shut off. But anyways, doing the exhaust takes a little while when you're crawling underneath the car like this, and I still don't have a muffler anyways. So probably tomorrow I'm gonna tinker with the exhaust, but the rest of my day I'm gonna tinker with the wiring and try to figure out why the car is doing what it's doing. But at the end of the day, the car turns on, it has no leaks whatsoever, which is freaking awesome. And I think I'm gonna end the video right here while we still got some daylight, so I can spend more time focusing on diagnosing this car. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. I truly appreciate that. And if you guys want some more progress update on Cat's Wagon, be sure to hit the subscribe button. We're definitely getting a traction bar, some different header. We're gonna be fabricating intake, so we can squeeze as much power we can out of it once it is ready for tune. So y'all stick around for that. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in the next video. Peace. Faulty injector.